What's up, Virgo? Happy New Year and welcome to your January 2022 general reading. This is going to be for you, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, but of course, it's not going to hit home for all of you guys, so definitely check out your other placements. And let's just get into this. So we're in Capricorn season, which collectively means we're in that 10th house energy, right? So Capricorn's connected to Saturn. That's all about ambition, career, your public image, authority, the father, all those types of things. So that is what we are collectively sitting in. But for you, Virgos, we are dealing with a lot of 5th house energy, 11th house energy, and I'd say 6th house energy this month. So Capricorn being in your 5th house means there's a lot of emphasis on creation and play and flirting and romance and even your children, right? So that's what this month for you is kind of centered around. There might even be a lot of sexual tension for you guys this month, especially as we move more into the month and especially as we kind of get out of that that Venus retrograde at the end of the month. But there's that starting in January. Let's start January 2nd. So January 2nd, we had a new moon in Capricorn, which again, it's going to focus more on the career aspects, the ambitions, all those types of things. But for you guys, this is hitting home in terms of, like I said, the flirt and the play and the creation. So that's really, really good for you. Because this was a new moon, a dark new moon in Capricorn, it's a really good time to set some professional goals if you haven't already done so. I don't know if you guys believe in resolutions. I'm not really a New Year's resolution type girl. I mostly make my resolutions around my birthday because that's my personal new year, but everyone's different. Either way, with this new moon, it's a really good idea to set some intentions, especially in terms of your professional goals, because you do have that Saturn energy kind of working with you. Along with that new moon that we had on the 2nd, Mercury, your ruling planet, moved to Aquarius. So that brings a lot of emphasis and focus for you guys on your daily routine, your work, your health, everything that is actually connected to your house, your 6th house, right? You guys are the rulers of the 6th house. So big emphasis on that. Along with, Mercury moving to Aquarius, Mercury also goes retrograde this month. So I don't know. I always just think of you and Geminis heavily because I'm like, ooh, they must be going through it. They must go through it all the time because Mercury retrogrades the most out of all the planets, right? I feel like you guys are probably affected a lot. Now it is retrograding in Aquarius. So again, it's going to be more emphasis on, the daily routines, your health, your work, those types of things. Make sure that you are aware of the typical Mercury retrograde things, the delays in travel, the tech issues, the X's, and just making sure that you are really reading everything thrice, right? Because information kind of slip through the cracks, okay? So Mercury is going to be retrograde from the 14th of this month all the way to February 3rd, okay? After that, we do have a full moon in Cancer on the 17th, which, Cancer is ruler of that 4th house energy, so a lot of emphasis on home, a lot of emphasis on emotional stability, foundations, the mother, all those Cancer-y things. And for you guys, this is going to put a big emphasis on actually your social circles. So for you guys, this is tapping into your 11th house. So this has a lot to do with your social circles, your friends, your humanitarian efforts, all those types of things. Even that's connected to your goals as well. And as we even go into Aquarius season this month, there's going to be a big focus on that in general, just because they are the humanitarians of the zodiac. They are about the community of the zodiac. So there's going to be a lot more emphasis on that towards the end of the month when we move into Aquarius season. Another thing to keep in mind is Uranus actually goes direct on the 18th. So full moon on the 17th, 18th Uranus goes direct. It's been retrograde since August, okay? And it really, for all of us, has kind of opened our eyes and kind of inspired us to step out of our comfort zones, right? It's also kind of given us more of that push to where we find the purpose in terms of enacting change in our communities and those types of things. And so I think that's really, really good. After that, the day after that, we've got we're going into Aquarius season. So we've got the 17th, the full moon, 18th, Uranus goes direct, the 19th, we go into Aquarius season, which, like I said, will be a lot more about community, and we'll talk about that as we get there. Mars moves into Capricorn this month on the 24th, and for you guys, that's going to be hitting your 5th house again. There's going to be a lot of sexual energy, a lot of sexual tension, possibly. You know, Mars is that planet that's connected to action and drive and your sex drive, right? And the way you fight. And so with that being in your 5th house being that house of play and romance and flirt and sexual and personal like expression, things can get pretty hot and heavy for Virgos this month, so I'm not mad. And then last but not least, I want to talk about the fact that Venus goes direct. So Venus has been retrograde since December 19th. It goes direct on the 29th of this month, which is really, really good in terms of relationships. Things can feel really stagnant, really stuck, really confusing when Venus is retrograde, because it does make us take a double look at our partnerships and our relationships. And so, you know, for you, just like everybody else, I feel like this opens up more doors and more things. So let's get into the cards. Okay. Virgo, you guys start out with the Wheel of Fortune. I actually love to see this as your unseen energy, because the Wheel of Fortune always spins in our favor, right? It's the karmic wheel. When we talk about Wheel of Fortune, it is also connected to Jupiter energy, which is interesting because Jupiter actually just moved into Pisces. And with Jupiter moving into Pisces, it has a lot to do with us opening up our ideals and our spiritual awareness, right? Pisces is connected to that 12th house. It's very much deeply rooted in spirit and dreams and, you know, God and karma and all those things. And then we talk about Jupiter, we're talking about the planet that's all about luck and expansion, blowing everything up. So I think a lot of you guys are getting a lot of perspective at this time. There might be some, you know, spiritual downloads that you're getting this month that will be very, very helpful for you in moving forward. But all in all, Wheel of Fortune, we love to see it, because this is things moving. This is things happening for you, right? So that's really, really good. Like I said before, there's a lot of emphasis on your relationships, or in terms of like romance and play. And there's a lot of emphasis on your friends this month because of that full moon in Cancer. And you guys start off with the Lovers and the 3 of Cups. I actually love to see this. I feel like you guys are going to be feeling very connected this month. Now, it may not come all at once and it may not come in the beginning of the month, but the overall, I think you guys are going to be feeling very connected. You know, the Lovers is not just about falling in love with someone. It's not just about a romantic love. It's about love of self, love of humanity. It's about like feeling alignment and connection in general. This could also speak to a choice that needs to be made between lovers. Just saying, especially when Mercury rolls around and does her little thing with her retrograde, you know, there could always be someone from the past coming up. But I think this is really, really good. I think you guys also, there's something about your friendships, feeling more connected to your friendships this month. And I think that's really, really great too. Again, 11th house is just being tapped on by that Cancer full moon. And so there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of joy, a lot of coming together, and just, you know, Virgos, I don't think I could date a Virgo man because I'm just too sensitive. I'm too sensitive for the judgment. But Virgos to me are like some of the best friends and like people you could depend on, because they're solid and they tell you what you need to hear, you know, and they might give you a little tough love, but it's love nonetheless, right? So I think that you guys are feeling really connected to your friends. This might even inspire you to do something with your friends. Like you guys volunteer to help with the homeless shelter, volunteer to help with the animals, volunteer to whatever. There's going to be a lot of everybody feeling like they want to really find their purpose and make a difference in this world in whichever way you can, right? So that's really, really good. I think especially with your friends, there's a lot of connection. And this month actually brings you a lot to celebrate. Really lean in on your friends too, especially if you guys are feeling stuck. Because I don't know, I just think they give you different perspective, and it'll make you feel light to where you can get out of this Eight of Swords energy if you're feeling it. Now, this Eight of Swords energy, I feel like is connected a lot to this Mercury retrograde that's going to be happening. So there might be moments where you're feeling a little bit stuck, feeling a little stagnant, but you know, Ace of Pentacles here. You've got some new beginnings coming. I think maybe that has a lot to do with it. I think that there's some things that are shifting and changing. And, you know, when things are shifting and changing and we're not quite sure of which direction or how they're shifting and changing, it could be quite uncomfortable, and we can get into this analysis paralysis type situation. And for me, Virgos are always like, you guys have always been low-key air signs, right? You guys are super smart, you think a lot, you do this pragmatic weighing up dance in your head. And so just try not to get too stuck this month. It's very easy to do, especially with your ruling planet being retrograde, okay? Now, you got the Nine of Swords here. Dreams might be a little funky. Please let me know in the comments if you've been having some like vivid or like lucid dreams, because that's definitely a thing that could be happening. But, you know, let's not ignore the fact that Nine of Swords is someone who is worried, someone who is stressed. So what are you stressed about? You know, what are you stressed about? And is it something that you can control? Is it something that you can help? Virgos, I love you, no shit. You guys have problems sometimes with releasing control in a certain way, because you know, it's all for the best. It's all for the best of intentions, but it can drive you crazy. So just make sure that you're not doing too much overthinking this month. Again, with the Mercury and Venus in retrograde, honestly, it can bring some of that energy, especially if it has to do with your home life, and especially if it has to do with maybe relationships. Okay, we've got a Knight of Cups coming here. Maybe some of you have someone on the brain. Maybe some of you guys are kind of in this like weird situationship in terms of relationship where you're trying to work it out, trying to stand your ground, yet be there, yet all this stuff. There's a lot of confusion. Oof, Seven of Wands. This is someone who's trying to stand their ground and defend themselves. And then we've got the Moon right underneath that, which is this is mystery. So it feels like you guys are kind of lost, at least in terms of relationships. Things might be a little bit unclear. We've got the Vice card with the Capricorn. It might have to do with Capricorn, might have to do with the Pisces. But just, you know, it might have to do with the ex. I hate to say it. I think that's like the lamest thing about Mercury retrograde, but it is possible that you might be hearing from someone from the past, someone where it didn't work out. And, you know, it's up to you if you'd want to move forward with that. But I suspect that you guys are going in a very new direction right now, because you also have the Ace of Wands. And ooh, Three of Cups came out again. So there's a big emphasis on your relationships with your friends. There's a big emphasis on keeping close to the people who make you feel good. Not necessarily romantic, but maybe, right? For some of you, there may be something that comes up this month where it's like Spirit's asking you to like ask your friends for help. Like, don't take everything on yourself. You've got great people surrounding you who love you, who want to be with you, who want to bring you joy. And so you've got that. You've also got something new happening. So maybe some of you guys are working on some new projects with your friends, perhaps a podcast, perhaps a business, perhaps maybe you guys are planning for travel. I don't know, but Ace of Wands is very exciting. This is potential for something new, something exciting, something you're passionate about. And it looks like you guys are getting into some new things, possibly with friends, possibly with, you know, siblings or people who are close to you. But this feels like there's something that's going to ignite you this month. Even just the idea of it, it just makes you feel lighter and makes you feel like you're more stepping into your purpose. So, hey, if that's what's happening, I say go with it. Also with that, you've got a Seven of Pentacles. So Seven of Pentacles is that energy of I've been working on something. I've been planting my seeds. I don't know yet how they're going to come out. And I want you to really focus on not overthinking that, because sitting over that is that Eight of Swords that I pulled earlier. And so it might have something to do with just like overthinking a process, overthinking a job situation, whatever it is you're overthinking. And you might be finding that you're getting into this kind of pessimistic area. Now it's interesting because where this card is placed, the Seven of Pentacles, is actually in my cop out area, where I say like, look, this is what you want not to do, right? You see how she's like watching the plants grow? And that shit is going to take forever. Like, that's slow. Like, things aren't going to necessarily speed up just because you're paying attention to it more, or because you're breathing over it more, or you're micromanaging it more. If anything, what it does is it kind of leaves you in this Five of Pentacles space where you're feeling the lack and feeling without, and you're feeling like things aren't right. So I want to make sure that you guys are understanding that this is not the month for you to be over analyzing shit. Like, it's just not. What it's going to do is put you in this Five of Pentacles space. And I understand that that's very hard, but that's something that you're going to have to fight on. So meditation is going to be your best friend. Maybe some walks, maybe some whatever for you makes you feel grounded, listening to music, whatever for you makes you feel freer, can kind of get you out of like a wound up space. Because with Eight of Swords, Nine of Swords, and this Five of Pentacles, like, shit can go left. And I don't feel like it's anybody doing it to you outside of yourself. I feel like it's the pressures that you put on yourself. And what I'm saying is you don't have to do that, okay? Now, last card you got is Nine of Pentacles, which this is a single ladies card. This, Nine of Pentacles is someone who takes very good care of themselves, and other people know what the expectation is when they come into their space because they can see that they take good care of themselves, right? This is someone who's, their money's together, they're feeling secure, they're feeling happy, they're feeling free, they're feeling capable, and it's independent of anybody else, period. Like, period. Ooh, okay, hold on now. Tower. Ooh, Two of Wands. Let me do one more card for this. The Tower card comes unexpectedly. It kind of shakes shit up real quick, right? And that's why a lot of people don't really like it, Although I will say sometimes the surprises are great. Sometimes they're a little bit more difficult, but what they are every single time is absolutely necessary. Some of you guys might be planning a move. Some of you guys, something might happen that, you all of a sudden feel inspired to go a different direction, a different route with something. There's something that is or has the potential to shake up your security and your foundations that you've built. Ooh, Hierophant. That's Taurus energy. Are y'all hopping into a relationship? Because it went from single ladies to boom, out of nowhere, to Hierophant committed. No, Nine of Pentacles still single. Some of you guys might be meeting someone or getting close to someone this month, but also that Hierophant card, remember, that Jupiter and Pisces, there's a lot shifting with people's spiritual outlooks, this could have something to do with that. This also could have something to do with community or where you live, I'm feeling. When we talk about Hierophant, we talk about, yes, spirituality, yes, marriage, yes, community, yes, government, institutions, that type of thing. Maybe some of you guys have been doing independent work, and then all of a sudden you find yourself working with others on something, and this can go a number of ways. Maybe joining some type of a union, and it could be something that you weren't even expecting to do, so it kind of hits you by surprise, but I don't see it being a good thing. A bad thing. I also don't know if this could have something to do with, like, if you guys are working on a project, maybe now you're finding resources that are helping you, right? They kind of come out of nowhere, and so you've got more backing on the project. It's kind of what it feels like too. That's really good. Okay, you've got successful funding. It says your idea is divinely guided and supported by the same infinite wisdom of God that gave you the idea. Do not allow money concerns to prevent you from turning it into reality. Crowdfunding, partnerships, and other investments are available to help you. I love this. So whatever it is that you're trying to do, if you feel like you in this space right now do not have the resources to do it, don't let that be the bottom line. Don't give up there, because there are resources out there that you can find help with. Whether this is, trying to, do a project, whether this is trying to do some type of a charity thing, whether, you're needing sponsors for blah, blah, blah. It's out there for you. You might just have to think outside the box a little bit to get to them, but they're available to you, okay? And then you've also got religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path, which is really interesting because you've got that Hierophant card. So I'm feeling like this could have to do with this. It's interesting though, this religious factors card to me, it almost rarely has to do with religion for me. For me, it usually comes across as speaking more to tradition, because as we know, most people believe what they believe because it's the tradition in their family. Like, oh, I'm Christian because I grew up Christian. My mama's Christian, my dad, you know what I mean? Like for a lot of people, it's like that. A lot of people don't, for a while, get to a place where they really are seeing what works for them and what's for them. A lot of what we follow, at least in the beginnings, has to do with tradition. We believe what we believe because that's, conscious of kind. That's what we've been believed, So this could have to do with religion. Maybe if you're meeting someone and maybe like, let's say you're Christian, they're Buddhist, you're, whatever. It can go other ways, but also there may be some things about tradition, and tradition being really important to you, especially with all that sixth house energy of Mercury being in Aquarius, and you working on your daily routines, you working on your work and all that. There may be some crossover with that. So keep that in mind. And that's what I got for you. I hope that this helped. If you would like a personal reading, you can reach out to me at shesvibeytarot@gmail.com. I've got my menu of services and pricing in my About tab, so check that out. If you would like to do a live reading, which those are my favorite, I offer a 30-minute and an hour long. I love those because I actually get to meet you guys. I get to talk to you and you get to ask me questions in real time. And so I think it brings you guys a different level of clarity than me recording a video, because if I say something in the video and you don't quite understand, if we're live, you can be like, girl, what? So anyways, I love you guys and I hope that helped, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, Virgo.